Every achievement begins with a clear picture in the mind. Before success takes shape in the physical world, it must first be born in thought. Without a strong, focused vision, life becomes a series of random actions guided by impulse rather than intention. People drift from one idea to another, chasing what looks shiny but never stopping to ask if it's truly what they want. That's why so many never arrive, because they never decided where they were going in the first place. The mind is the workshop of creation. What you allow to live there determines the direction of your life. If you fill it with vague hopes and shallow desires, you'll get shallow results. But if you hold a vision that is clear, detailed, and emotionally charged, you give yourself a blueprint to build upon. You create a map, and maps guide you through storms, through distractions, through moments of doubt. A person with a powerful vision is dangerous because they cannot be stopped by current circumstances. They don't need perfect conditions. They only need to hold the image and keep moving toward it. This isn't about daydreaming. This is about building, starting from the inside out. Too many people want the money first. They want the recognition. They want the proof. But the truth is, the world gives nothing to those who haven't already claimed it in their minds. The process is always the same. First, you must see it within, then you speak it, then you act on it, and only then do you experience it. Vision is the first layer of reality, and without it, nothing solid can be created. When your vision is strong, it brings structure to your life. It gives your time a purpose. It filters your decisions. It makes saying no easier because you know what you're saying yes to. Without vision, distractions look like opportunities, but with vision, you can tell the difference. You stop chasing and start building. You stop reacting and start creating. And that's when momentum kicks in. That's when things begin to align, not because the world changed, but because you did. A powerful vision also does something deeper. It shapes your identity. You stop thinking like who you are, and you start thinking like who you are becoming. That shift is everything, because when the mind adopts a new identity, the body follows. The habits follow. The energy changes. You begin to move with conviction, speak with confidence, decide with strength, and suddenly the world begins to respond differently to you. Clarity is a superpower. Most people are too distracted to build anything lasting. They're pulled in 10 directions, reacting to noise, living off temporary highs. But the few who take time to get clear, deeply clear, about what they want, why they want it, and who they must become to achieve it, those are the people who rise. Not because they had better luck, but because they had better focus. They mastered the one thing most overlook, the vision. You don't need to know every step. You just need to know where you're going. That destination will pull you forward, even when you feel tired. It will guide your instincts. It will push you through fear, and eventually it will shape your results. Life bends in the direction of your dominant thoughts. That's why the vision must be more than a wish. It must be a belief so strong that no outside voice can shake it. Master the vision, and the rest will follow. Not by chance, but by design. Because what lives in your mind long enough begins to live in your world. Most people never get what they want because they don't know what they're really after. They say they want success, but they chase money. They say they want peace, but they fill their lives with noise. They say they want purpose, but they follow comfort. This is why failure becomes the default. It's not because people are incapable. It's because they're unfocused. They don't have a vision powerful enough to carry them through discomfort, so they stop at the first sign of resistance, and the world has no shortage of resistance. When you chase money without purpose, you will always feel empty. You'll jump from one thing to the next, hoping something will finally click. But without a deeper reason driving you, even your wins will feel shallow. This is why people burn out so quickly. They're working hard, but not working aligned. They're busy, but not becoming. Their energy is scattered, so their results are weak. They give up, not because they're lazy, but because they're not connected to anything bigger than a paycheck. You can't cheat this process. You can't skip the internal work and expect lasting rewards. Life doesn't respond to shortcuts. It responds to clarity, intention, and discipline. You must stop and ask yourself, what am I building? Why does it matter? Who am I becoming in the process? Without answers to these questions, every step feels heavy. Every obstacle feels final. Because when there's no vision, there's no power. And when there's no power, you can't create anything that lasts. The reason most people fail isn't lack of talent, opportunity, or intelligence. It's the lack of a clear, burning vision, one that grips their heart, one that makes the struggle worth it, one that refuses to let them settle. Without that, motivation fades, focus disappears, and failure becomes a cycle. But when the vision is clear, everything changes. You move differently, you think bigger, you persist longer, because you're not just chasing success, you're fulfilling something deeper. And that kind of person does not fail. Wealth is never the starting point. It is the result. It's the visible outcome of something invisible that was built long before. The vision. Just like a tree cannot grow without a seed, no success can appear without a strong inner image. People try to skip this. They want to harvest without planting. They want results without foundation. But wealth only grows where the right seed has been planted, protected, and nurtured. And that seed is your vision. A vague idea won't get you far. It has no roots. The moment pressure hits, it dies. But when your vision is deep, when it's rooted in something real, your values, your mission, your purpose, it can survive anything. The wind can blow, the storms can rage, but you will stand. Not because it's easy, but because you're grounded in something larger than money. You're building with intention, and intention creates power. The most dangerous person in the world is the one who knows exactly where they're going. They can walk through fire because they're not focused on the fire, they're focused on the outcome. They're not guessing, they're creating. That kind of clarity turns you into a force. It makes your actions sharper, your words stronger, your decisions faster. People notice. Energy builds, and eventually, wealth follows. Not because you chased it, but because you grew into the person who attracts it. You don't get wealthy by chasing dollars. You get wealthy by becoming valuable. And value comes from vision. When your life is driven by something bigger than survival, bigger than ego, bigger than the next quick win, you become rare. And in a world full of noise and imitation, rarity is power. The world pays those who see clearly. It rewards those who plant the right seed and stay with it. And if you truly commit to your vision, the fruit will come. The wealth, the impact, the freedom, they are already on their way. But it all begins with a seed. Everything you want to build on the outside must first exist clearly on the inside. That's the law. Nothing comes to life in the physical world until it has been shaped in the mind. The great mistake most people make is waiting to see results before they believe. But that's backward. Belief must come first. Vision must be created mentally before it becomes reality. The brain is not a mirror of what is. It's a projector of what can be. The clearer the image in your mind, the more your thoughts, emotions, and actions begin to move in harmony with it. If you can see it, you can start becoming it. And the more often you revisit that image, the stronger the connection becomes. Repetition carves it into your subconscious. Over time, it starts to feel real, not because it's happened yet, but because your mind has already experienced it. And here's the truth. The subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's vividly imagined. That's why visualization is not wishful thinking. It's mental construction. You're not dreaming, you're designing. This is why people who succeed often speak with such conviction. They've already walked the path in their minds 1,000 times. They've felt the weight of their success, spoken the words, heard the applause, endured the failure, and risen again, all before it ever happened. So when the real world finally catches up, they're ready. They don't hesitate. They don't doubt. They've already been there. You don't need permission to start this process. You don't need resources, connections, or even support. All you need is the discipline to sit with your vision daily, to shape it, refine it, and believe in it before anyone else does. It's not magic, it's preparation. And when the preparation is done right, reality begins to adjust. Doors open, people appear, opportunities align, but none of it begins until you build it in your mind first. The world responds to what you believe is possible. And if you build it strong enough within, it has no choice but to appear without. Motivation is a spark, but obsession is a fire. Motivation fades. It depends on mood, on weather, on how the day is going. It rises and falls with emotion. But obsession? Obsession doesn't ask how you feel. It doesn't care if it's hard. It shows up every day without compromise. When you're obsessed with your vision, you don't need reminders. You don't wait for the right time. You don't scroll through inspiration hoping something will push you. You are the push. You are the force. The reason most people stall is because they rely on motivation. They chase short bursts of energy, then wonder why they lose steam. But you can't build something lasting off temporary feelings. You need something deeper. You need something wired into your identity. That's what obsession does. It transforms your vision into part of who you are. It's no longer something you do when you feel like it. It's something you must do, because not doing it feels wrong. Obsession creates consistency. It wakes you up early. It keeps you locked in when others drift off. It teaches you to focus when everyone else is distracted. This kind of drive is rare, not because it's impossible, but because it's uncomfortable. Most people don't want to go that deep. They want balance, ease, a little success without too much pressure, but real achievement demands intensity. It requires you to fall in love with the process, even when it's painful. You don't need to fear obsession. You need to channel it. When it's rooted in a powerful vision, obsession doesn't destroy, it builds. It shapes you into someone disciplined, focused, and unstoppable. And eventually, it's not about forcing yourself anymore. It becomes automatic. You act in alignment because you've trained your mind to see anything else as a threat to your future. That's the level where success becomes inevitable. Not because it's easy, but because you're relentless. You don't stop when it's hard. You don't slow down when it's boring. You keep going because the vision owns you now. And once it does, nothing can stop you. One of the greatest traps on the path to success is becoming obsessed with the outcome. People chase results so aggressively that they forget why they started. They become anxious, impatient, and reactive. Every delay feels like failure. Every slow day feels like proof they're not good enough. But that mindset kills momentum, because when you're too attached to the result, you start to doubt the process. You lose your power. True builders don't chase results. They stay loyal to the vision. That's the difference. When your identity is tied to outcomes, your self-worth rises and falls with every win or loss. You become emotionally unstable, constantly questioning your path. But when you shift your focus from results to the bigger picture, everything changes. You stop needing proof. You stop looking for external validation. You keep working not because it's paying off immediately, but because it's who you are. You've already decided. The vision is non-negotiable. Whether it happens today or 10 years from now, doesn't change your commitment. Detachment doesn't mean you don't care. It means you trust. You trust the process you're building. You trust your preparation. You trust that what's meant for you will find its way, as long as you don't quit. It's this calm intensity that sets visionaries apart. They don't panic when results don't show up right away. They don't switch directions every week. They stay the course, because their eyes are fixed on something greater than numbers. Success is not just about doing the right things. It's about becoming the right person while doing them. That transformation only happens when you let go of constant measuring and start building with conviction. Let the outcome take care of itself. Put your energy into the habits, the discipline, the clarity. Let your actions reflect your belief. The results will catch up. Because when the vision is real and the work is consistent, it's only a matter of time. The world always bends for the one who refuses to break, not because they force it, but because they were never in it for the short term anyway. Vision is the spark, but discipline is the engine. Without discipline, vision is just a fantasy. It sits in your mind, full of potential but empty of impact. This is the mistake so many people make. They get excited about the idea, they talk about the future, they dream big, but they never build the habits to back it up. And so, nothing changes. Because success doesn't come from intensity once in a while, it comes from consistency, even when you don't feel like it. Discipline is not about being perfect, it's about being committed. It's showing up when you're tired. It's doing the work when it's boring. It's saying no to distractions that look fun but lead nowhere. That's the real grind. Saying yes to your future over and over, even when it costs you comfort. It's not glamorous, it's not always rewarding in the moment, but it's what separates the dreamers from the achievers. Every time you choose discipline, you strengthen your identity. You prove to yourself that you can be trusted, and that self-trust becomes fuel. Because when you believe in your own consistency, doubt starts to die. Fear loses its grip. You stop needing outside validation because you have internal evidence. You're doing the work. You're moving forward. And that belief builds momentum. People want shortcuts. They want hacks. But the truth is simple. Discipline is the only bridge between your vision and the life you're trying to create. No amount of talent or inspiration can replace it. Your future doesn't belong to the most gifted. It belongs to the most disciplined. The ones who keep showing up. The ones who understand that every small action matters. Every routine, every hour, every effort. It all adds up. You don't have to feel ready. You don't have to feel inspired. You just have to stay disciplined. Because when discipline becomes who you are, success stops being a question. It becomes a natural result. The vision pulls you, but discipline carries you. And together, they create a force that no setback can stop. You don't get what you want, you get what you are. The world responds not to your desires, but to your identity. This is the part most people overlook. They set goals, they write plans, they dream about the lifestyle, but they never become the kind of person who can carry that weight. You have to match the frequency of what you're asking for. If you want greatness, you must think, act, and live like someone who's already great. Not someday, now. Success isn't just about having, it's about holding. Can you hold wealth without it breaking you? Can you hold responsibility without running? Can you hold power without losing integrity? That's the real test. That's why the internal work matters more than any strategy. Because without character, any success you create will eventually collapse under pressure. But when you build from the inside out, your foundation is unshakable. Becoming the person who deserves it means mastering your thoughts, your habits, your environment. It means you stop negotiating with laziness. You stop feeding your excuses. You stop waiting for permission. You make decisions from your vision, not your feelings. You train your mind to operate at a higher standard, even when no one's watching, especially when no one's watching. There's no shortcut here. You can't fake who you are for long. Life will test you. It will expose the gaps between your dreams and your discipline. But that's not something to fear. It's something to welcome. Because every challenge is shaping you into the person you must become. Every failure is feedback. Every delay is an opportunity to build more strength, more clarity, more depth. You don't need to chase success. You need to align with it. Become the kind of person who naturally attracts the life you want, not through force, but through growth, through refinement, through truth. And when who you are matches what you want, nothing can stay out of reach. Because the world doesn't give you what you wish for, it gives you what you've earned. And if you become the one who deserves it, it's already yours. Wealth is not just money. It's not just numbers in a bank or material possessions. True wealth is the reflection of the value you bring into the world, value through your skills, your mindset, your presence, and your ability to solve real problems. Money is simply the echo of the impact you create. If you want more wealth, the path is clear. Become more valuable. Not in theory, in practice, in reality, every day. Most people ask, how can I get more? How can I serve at a higher level? How can I show up in a way that makes others better, stronger, clearer? That's where wealth begins. Not in manipulation, not in shortcuts, but in contribution. If you make life easier, faster, more meaningful for others, people will find you, opportunities will open, energy will flow, because value is magnetic. But here's the truth. You can't fake value. You have to earn it. You have to build it over time. You have to study, refine, listen, and grow. You have to develop the kind of skill, thinking, and emotional control that makes people trust you. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be intentional. Every time you choose growth over comfort, you increase your value. Every time you do the hard thing, you increase your value. Every time you show up when others quit, you increase your value. Wealth is the reward for becoming the kind of person who moves the needle, not just for yourself, but for others. You want to rise? Make others rise. You want to be respected? Become someone who's worth respecting. When you commit to delivering value no matter what, without expecting applause or shortcuts, you start to separate from the crowd. That's when the game changes. So stop chasing money. Start increasing your value. The more you develop yourself, the more wealth will become a byproduct of who you are, not because you begged for it, but because you became impossible to ignore. Success is rarely instant. It's rarely neat. The path is full of unexpected turns, setbacks, and aha moments when everything feels like it's falling apart. That's the test, the part most people quit on. But those who master the vision learn to trust the process, no matter how slow or difficult it seems. They know that every step, even the hard ones, are shaping their future. They embrace the journey, not just the destination. Trusting the process means letting go of impatience. It means understanding that growth happens beneath the surface first, in ways you cannot immediately see. Like a seed breaking through soil, the progress is invisible before it becomes obvious. You might not notice the changes each day, but they are happening. Discipline, belief, and persistence are building strength you will use later. This is why consistency is so powerful. It compounds over time, creating results that feel like magic, but are actually the sum of countless small actions. Embracing the journey means learning to find meaning in the struggle. Instead of seeing obstacles as failures, you see them as lessons. Necessary steps that build resilience, sharpen your skills, and deepen your commitment. The vision becomes a source of hope and fuel, even in the darkest moments. It's no longer just about what you will get, but who you will become along the way. There will be days when doubt creeps in, when the vision seems distant or impossible. That's normal. But the difference is how you respond. Will you let fear stop you, or will you lean into it and keep moving? The journey rewards those who persevere, not because they're lucky or gifted, but because they believe in their vision enough to keep taking the next step. Every action, no matter how small, is a vote for your future. Keep voting. Keep trusting. The money will follow, but only if you first master the vision. Focus on building the mindset, the habits, and the resilience. Trust the unseen work. Embrace the process. Because when you do, success becomes not just a possibility, but an inevitability.